Sorry, I got suddenly stopped in between. So now this is transient transformation, which is helpful because there is no necessity of doing any kind of selection, and it can be achieved by using simple plasmid vectors even without the origin of replication. Since we are not looking for a stability, so therefore no need of inducing any kind of multiplication of the plasmid. Next kind of transformation which we are going to come across with co-transformation. So co-transformation is nothing but, here what we are going to say is, so two unlinked DNA molecules are going to get transformed into the same host cell. That is what co-transformation is. So transaction with two physically unlinked DNA resulted in co-transformation, that is the integration of the both transgene, that is both the DNA molecule, into the genome of the host cell. So to obtain this co-transformation, so whatever the cell, which is the host cells, are going to get transfected with one particular set of recombinant DNA, and then they are going to get transformed with the another set of recombinant DNA. For example, here you can see transfected with the HSV TK, means thymidine kinase gene, and a vast excess of well-defined DNA such as PBR322. The cells now they are going to get selected onto the HAT medium and tested by the southern blot hybridization for the presence of non-selected plasmid DNA. Now they are going to select the host cells which have got transformed in the first recombinant DNA construct. Now these particular non-selected DNA molecules, these particular host cells, which are going to have this marker DNA for the presence of the non-selected DNA in nearly 90%, there will be TK positive cells, indicating that they are having the HSV TK gene. So means they have got transformed with the first set of recombinant DNA. Okay, so now what they are going to do is, after getting the first set of recombinant DNA, now they are going to get transformed with the another, means here, so one, in this case what I want to tell you is, one is the recombinant DNA having HSV TK gene, another is the PBR322 vector components. So when they are co-transformed, when they are transformed into the host cell, now those host cells which are carrying the TK gene can be selected, so that can give you a co-transformant. Next, another type is the stable transformation. Stable transformation means, here the transformation which is going to be obtained by transforming the recombinant DNA, which will be carrying its own origin of replication, which makes it to multiply, and it means multiply even in an episomal state or extra chromosomal state, and also it can get itself transformed, or it itself get inherited or transformed into the daughter cells. So that is the stable transformation. For example, EBV replicon, the virus becomes established as an episomal means replicon with about 1000 copies per cell. So that can be linked with an origin of replication of ORP and a gene encoding trans-acting regulator EBVR, EBNA1, that is Epstein-Barr virus nuclear antigen 1. So when this combination is going to get transformed into the host cell, people have found that has given rise to 50 copies per cell. So first EBV vector comprised of REP element cloned into a bacterial plasmid and could replicate only if EBNA1 was supplied in trans. So means can able to make the cell to produce our required protein molecule whenever needed also. And so there is here it is done by using a shuttle vector, means which are shuttling between the eukaryotic and as well as prokaryotic system, that is PBAMC, comprising ORI-P and bacterial origin of replication and ampicillin resistance gene derived from PBR322, neomycin phosphotransferase marker for selection in case of animal cell. So a derived vector was developed from there as PHEBO, containing hygromycin resistance marker gene instead of neomycin transformation phosphotransferase gene. So here this selectional pressure is necessary to maintain the transformation, and EBOI replicon have been used to express wide range of protein molecules in the host cells. So terrible transformations have their own benefit, that is because here markers are going to be very necessary and its selection is also going to be very important. And this kind of selectional pressure, if we are going to keep, so that will be helpful in getting maintaining the transformation for longer period of time. And these particular stable transformants can be used to do the assay not for a particular limited period of time. So until unless we are going to keep the selectional pressure and we are going to maintain these cell lines, so we can able to do the things, means do all our required assays. So this is also a method which people use it to develop the specific type of cell lines. Next is the markers. So the marker genes are going to be very important as they are going to help us in process of selection, screening, and also in order to understand whether our gene of interest or our protein of interest is being produced or not. There are different type of markers are present. Dominant markers, recessive weak markers. There is some people call it as intrinsic markers. Some people call it as extrinsic markers, like that. So there is dominant selectable markers. Equally, transposon, that is TN5 and TN601, contains a distinct gene encoding neomycin phosphotransferase gene. So which people used it as in marker gene. So it confers a resistance to the cells for aminoglycoside antibiotics like kanamycins and neomycins. So these are protein-synthetic inhibitors active against bacterial and eukaryotic cells. So therefore they are being used as a selectional marker in either of animal or prokaryotic systems. There are some many other common markers like ADA, adenosine deaminase marker, which is used mainly. These are animal markers, means the markers which are being used in animal cell lines. There is APRT, adenosine phosphoribosyl transferase gene. There is CAD, there is HPRT, hypoxanthine guanine phosphoribosyl transferase gene. HGPRT also people call it as. There is TK, thymidine kinase gene, very important one. So selection is done, like for example in case of HGPRT, people are going to do the selection by providing the hypoxanthine and aminopterin to block the de novo IMP synthesis, and it can get selected on the HAT medium having hypoxanthine, aminopterin and thymidine. Then thymidine kinase gene, TK gene is also being used. TK means there people are going to use thymidine in the medium as well as aminopterin. Aminopterin blocks the de novo and induces the salvage only. So where the cell which is not carrying the gene of this thymidine kinase gene, so they are unable to produce the thymidine and they'll die off. So the TK, HGPRT transformants cells are going to be positive for TK and can be selected on HAT. So nucleotide synthesis becomes independent on salvage pathway. So if you remember, there is two pathways for synthesis, salvage and de novo. De novo is synthesis of nucleotides from the scratch, that is from the basic units, and salvage is the one which is done by using the pre-existing or the degradative product of the nucleotide synthesis. From IMP it will get synthesized. So here in this particular kind of use of this type of markers, what people do is they are going to use HPRT and TK markers. Here the cells are going to get blocked for the de novo by using aminopterin, and cells are going to be made to use the hypoxanthine, and they can use it to produce the nucleotides, particularly the purines. Guanine can be produced by using hypoxanthine aminopterin by using this HEPRT gene and or HPRT gene, and TK gene is going to be plays an important role, because here if they are not TK positive, the thymidine synthesis is going to get affected. And the other type of there is many more kind of genes people are using it in selectable markers in case of animals. Even it includes the aspergillus synthesis gene, so toxic glutamine analog albicillin, people are using it in the medium. So if it is present, then it is going to affect the synthesis of aspergillin. There is BLE, BSD, GPT, his gene. So there are many number of genes people are using it as a selectable marker. So another kind of markers which people are using is DHFR, that is dihydrofolate reductase gene. So here dihydrofolate reductase is the enzyme which is very much required for producing the deoxynucleotides, because ribonucleotide reductase enzyme is going to be involved in the production. So for the activation and maintenance of ribonucleotide reductase, it requires dihydrofolate reductase enzyme, which in turn uses dihydrofolate and tetrahydrofolate, converts into dihydrofolate and uses the reducing power to regenerate the enzymes. So here what people are using is they are using this dihydrofolate reductase enzyme. So why? Because people have found that so the molecule called methotrexate, it's an analog of folic acid, so it can actually inhibit the dihydrofolate reductase. But in few cells which are actually showing little more resistance to the methotrexate, it was found that there is a point mutation in the dihydrofolate locus which induces resistance to the methotrexate. And this type of amplification of mutation is very useful, because drug dose can be progressively increased, results in the stepwise selection of the cells with a massively amplified DHFR gene arrays. So alone it can give false results because of wild type strong locus can be there, but still for large expression of proteins people uses DHFR as a marker genes. And along with this, in order to do confirmation, people also use secondary marker gene, that is neomycin phosphotransferase. And that's about a few of the marker genes which are being used. I'll stop here. I'll continue in the next slides about the vectors.